Hello everyone, welcome to the new video of Azure Data Engineer interview preparation. Here I'm back with another important questions. So this is kind of a must was in the interview question, and the interviewer will try to play and try to confuse in this particular questions. So the question is like, what are the trigger? What is trigger and what are the different type trigger we have in ADF, and what are the in which scenario we'll choose which particular trigger. So we'll try to understand from the starting, and let's see how it goes. So to understand trigger, so everybody will be knowing that ADF is like orchestration tool we'll be using to create the pipeline. So once we have the pipeline, so let's suppose this is the pipeline, and this pipeline need to get triggered, right? This pipeline need to get execute. So we cannot execute this one every time command execute, right? We need to automate this one. So when it's get execute, so to automate or to trigger this particular pipeline, we have trigger in the ADF. Okay, so we have trigger which will basically trigger this particular pipeline on given particular time. So there are three different type of trigger we have. One is schedule trigger, one is schedule trigger, trembling window trigger, and event based trigger. Okay, so again we understood now what is trigger. Trigger is basically useful to automate the pipeline execution. That means automate your data integration workflow with the ADF trigger. Okay, so this is the useful of the trigger. Now there are three different way we execute the pipeline. One is schedule trigger, trembling window trigger, and event based trigger. So let's understand what is schedule trigger. So schedule trigger basically execute the pipeline on predefined schedule time. That means, like suppose we want to automate the pipeline, automatically run the particular pipeline on a particular schedule time. Let's suppose such as daily or hourly or weekly. Then we will use schedule window trigger. When we should use basically when there is a simple time-based automation, like every hours or every day it's need to trigger. That time we will particularly choose the schedule trigger, because this will basically run a specific time interval. If you run this particular, if you read this one, you can see the schedule trigger run the pipeline at specific time interval. Cool. So this is what the schedule trigger. So if I'll show you how it's look, so it will give you a better idea. So this is Microsoft documentation. So in order to create how I'll share this particular link to you. So very best thing to learn any kind of related thing to ADF is like from the official documentation. So let's understand and get familiar. Everybody will be knowing. So I really focus you are watching this video in order to prepare the interview. Okay. So uh, what how we'll create the schedule trigger. So this is my, let's suppose the pipeline, and to run this particular pipeline we have in the top corner that is trigger. So if you click on trigger, we'll get two things: trigger now and new or edit trigger. So if you click on new or edit, it will ask the option to create a new trigger, right? So in new trigger we can see this is the schedule trigger. If I show you, yeah, this is the schedule trigger. Here we can provide the name, what kind of triggers. As I shown you, there are three different type of trigger: schedule, tumbling window, and event. So we are looking here now schedule. So in the schedule, if you closely see it, they are showing there a start date, what particular start time. This is the start date of the particular trigger, and the time zone we can provide over here, and the recurrence means again and again, right? Recurring one. So every when it should come, every 15, if you can see over 15 minute or 15 hour, if you drag down this one, 15 hour or 15 days, every 1 days. This is how the option will be there. We need to choose that, and we can provide name over here. And the specific end date we can provide. If you click over there, end date we can provide there. The execution on that particular date will close. Okay, got it. So if you click on activate or no, activate yes or no, this indicate like if it is yes, right after creating the trigger, it will get executed. So once you create on OK over here, this particular will come like the pipeline. If there is pipeline with some parameter, it will showcase we need to pass the parameter. If it is not, the pop-up will come like this pipeline has no parameter. So this is, after this we can publish. So I want to show you how this creation also happen, and also it will make you to clear that, yeah, while interview visit like this is how we do also. So I hope you understood, like if it's a simple time based automation, if you want to do in particular time interval, if you want to do a pipeline, then schedule trigger is the right choice for you. Let's move to the other. We have the second one, that is called tumbling window trigger. So this is quite important, and here interviewer try to make you get confused. So when we should use this, uh, this tumbling window trigger used when working with time sensitive chunk data or reprocessing for specific interval is needed. So this particular time we use the tumbling window trigger. Didn't understand? Let me make it clear. So let me read this one. What this heading telling? Trigger this particular tumbling window trigger pipeline execution based on defined time interval. This schedule also telling on particular time interval it will trigger. So what is the difference? If you see the difference, different is like there are two different are there, two or three are there. Let me try to point here. One is like, first you need to understand what is this tumbling window. So what it exactly do? Tumbling window basically, yeah, tumbling window basically when we schedule this tumbling window, every, let's suppose time interval of 1 hour, every 1 hour it need to get triggers. That means let's suppose now is 2 p.m. 2 p.m. I started, then at 3 at 3 p.m. one trigger will happen, then 4 p.m. one trigger will happen, then 5 p.m. one trigger will happen, and 1 6 p.m. one trigger will happen. Okay, I am correct. Okay, till now fine. So if you see how many trigger has happened here, 2 to 3 1, 4 3 to 4 1, 4 to 5 1, 5 to 6 1. Okay, so that means in every hour of trigger there will be one window will create. This is window 1, this is window 2, this is window 3, this is window 4. Okay, what does it means? It's meaning simple that this execution has happened. If you see, if I take a point over here, on this particular execution happen, and this is the window is created. That means when window wise it will get triggered. Okay, and this window will not collapse with this window. These are non-callable execution will happen. And that means whenever, let's suppose I want to trigger a pipeline, this pipeline I want to trigger on the past day. Okay, past time, past, let's suppose today is January 11, and I want to trigger this for date of let's suppose I want to trigger it for January 11 today, I want to trigger it for January 2nd, 2nd of January. Then I can do this using tumbling window trick. This is the advantage of a tumbling window. With schedule, say with schedule trigger, we cannot do this. This is the first thing, because in window wise it will come. So every window we can get it out, right? Because they are not callable one. They don't. Every window will and start with the ending of another window. I hope it is getting clear. The second different of window tumbling window trigger with this schedule is, there we have opportunity to of a dependency. What does this means now? Second one is dependency we have. That means let's suppose there are two trigger. Okay, there is trigger 1 and trigger 2. And we found this trigger 2 will run, every trigger will run a pipeline. Okay, it's not necessary one trigger will run only one pipeline. One trigger can run multiple pipeline, and multiple trigger can run one pipeline. Okay, there are many to many relationship. First of all, this is important thing, there are many to many relationship, many to many relation. So let's don't confuse with our topic is trigger 2, let's suppose, is depend on trigger 1. That means when trigger 1 got execute, when trigger 1 will get execute by pipeline, then trigger 2 should get start execution. So this particular achievement, this particular task also we can do achievement by tumbling window trigger. Okay, so this is what the benefit of a trembling window. Let's see the definition what it say. So trembling window is nothing but execution pipeline at periodic interval, but with focus on fixed size. Fixed size is nothing but window size, non-overlapping time window. As I said, there will be no overlapping. It process data described junk wise or window wise. Use case, when we should use useful for processing data that arrive in batch or in time sensitive. As I said, time sensitive. That means let's suppose when we should use the tumbling window. As I said, see, window is created right here. Window is created. So on this particular time interval there are some data has come. Okay, that means the data is with the time, their relation are there, their sensitivity. So in future I want to get the data on this particular interval, I can get within this window. So this particular scenario is the tumbling window. Okay, so the key feature is window size can be configured, like whether it's hourly or daily. This is the window size. Okay, uh, this is tumbling window. So another definition what is say, used when the working with is time sensitive chunked data, if reprocessing for specific interval is needed, that time we use the tumbling window trigger. So let's see quickly how to create the tumbling window trigger. Again, on this particular link I'll give, here we'll be able to get. So just I want to see the UI how it's look. So in the data frame, if you go to trigger, if you go to new trigger, we can see the tumbling window trigger. I don't want to go there today. uh, Dependency one, see, I want to show you the, see, if you see, when you see our new created trigger, how it's look something like this. Uh, See, we gave the name of the trigger, that is tumbling window. There are description optional, type of trigger, that is schedule, tumbling window, event. We choose tumbling window. And the start date we have mentioned over here. What is the start date? Till now, no different with the schedule trigger. There is recurrence. Recurrence is nothing but every watch time, hourly, daily, or what. This recurrence. And end time, we can provide end date or no end. Next, the second beauty is here. What is the advanced section? In this section we are missing the schedule trigger, but here we can, that is we can add a dependency. If we got a plus over here, we can provide a trigger name. Okay, if you place in the trigger name, we have the two thing over here. One is offset, one is window size. These two thing will understand. So that means this particular trigger, which is nothing but demo tumbling window 2 trigger, is the dependent trigger for this demo tumbling window trigger 1. Okay, whatever name will provide it. That means until unless this particular trigger get happen, this will not happen. Until unless this particular trigger get complete, our this main trigger will not got execute. Okay, and also we have a option like what is the delay after, let's suppose every 1 hour is supposed to trigger, but we can provide delay of 1 minute. That means after every 61 second, 61 minute it will get triggered. and we have the max occurrence retry policy, or I mean the max occurrence I'll explain in couple of seconds. Let's understand what is retry policy. Retry policy is like sometime because of a network issue the trigger will get failed, right? We can retry for 2 times 3 times, how we do for other. Okay, interval of in the retry also, not instead of immediately retry for 2 times, we can provide after once retry you can wait for 30 seconds, then you retry again. And again this is also same activation or not. This max occurrence concurrence I want to say something. These three things I said, okay, I need to explain. Offset, window size, max occurrence. Okay, what does this thing? Let me minimize this. Okay, uh, I want to say to you what is offset. Okay, this is the beauty of it. I said you offset. Let's suppose this is a trigger A and trigger B. Okay, now so trigger A is depend on trigger B. Okay, so this offset 0 means, let's suppose the trigger B is running hourly basis. This only look at now trigger B. Okay, this trigger B is running hourly basis. If I can see this. Okay, this trigger B is running hourly basis. Okay, this is running hourly basis. This is 1 hour, this is another hour, and this is trigger A. That means this is in window, this is one window, this is another window, and this for this particular trigger this is one window, this is another window. And this offset 0 indicate that when when 10 to even 11 1 hour will complete on this particular time interval. Again, let me complete first. As I said, this particular trigger A will execute only after the trigger B when it will get executed. That means if it is 0 means, let's suppose trigger B is executing 10 to 11. Okay, this is 10 to 11. Okay, when this will complete on the same time this will get, after completing of immediately that same window, this will get executed. This will get clear. Wait, this will get clear when you understand this one. Okay, now hold on for this. Now come to here, trigger B, again the dependency of trigger B, I mean trigger A is dependency of trigger B. And how it is, if you see over here, offset is -1 was there, here it was 0, here they kept as a -1. Okay, why it is kept -1? Minus is nothing but backward. You can see every, let's suppose for trigger B 10 to 11 interval will be depend on the 9 to 10 interval of trigger B. Hope you understood now. That means between 9 to 10 one window will create, one execution will happen. On that execution completion after 10 to 11 execution will done of trigger A. I hope you understood. Okay, but how about this? As it is kept 0, they are same in time interval, but here is 1 hour delay interval. Got my point. Okay, dependency here -1, and the size we didn't provided. Okay, size we didn't provide because that's why 1 hour gave, I mean trigger B is 1 hour delay, and the trigger A is 1 hour delay of trigger B will make trigger A execution done. Now here along with the offset we provided size. Size is nothing but hours. Okay, what is window size for this particular trigger B completion of -1, then total 2 size. Okay, 1 hour 2 hour, then only our things will get executed. Got my point? This is how the dependency work. Okay, this all are called tumbling window. Hope you understood how the tumbling window. They will not ask much, but you should go through with this so that you will be competent on that. And we are left with one more last thing, that is event based trigger. Okay, Event based trigger is nothing but, as the name suggests, the initiate pipeline execution based on event, such as a file arrival of a blob creation or blob creation. What does that mean? So basically what we do usually, from a blob storage or ADLS into any storage place, we basically extract, or we run this particular pipeline. Okay, so let's suppose there are total two files are there. Okay, and the pipeline got executed and it went can come to the source. Okay, source source, this is my source. Okay, and another thing, let's suppose I another file has added to this particular here. This is one event has happened, right? So when one particular file has come, that time this particular pipeline should trigger automatically. It's not related to time, right? Anytime, whenever the file got added, that time the pipeline should execute and it should move to the source or the target. This is one scenario. Another is whenever one file, let's suppose, got deleted, any changes has happened with this source, that time any, let's suppose it deleted, that means it should run the pipeline and it should update the target. This is the requirement for the event based trigger. So how you can say, so when we when there is a file creation or file updation with a blob storage, that particular instance, when we trigger a particular pipeline, that time we use event based trigger. As the name suggests, event based, so on particular event we use the event based trigger. Okay, how to create this is also important. Okay, see, this is for event based trigger. How we create? Same way. I should, yeah. See, add trigger, what are the type? From schedule, tumbling, another is the storage event. Okay, two different type: custom event, storage event. So event based trigger name is storage event. Okay, now you understand storage event. Once you click over storage event, see, this is, I selected storage event. Now we need to provide some which particular storage, which container, and what particular condition you want to trigger. Like how Azure description I given, subscription I given, storage account name I given, container name I given, blob storage begin with is nothing but begin with is, let's suppose, container. Okay, container, then folder, then subfolder, and file. So what I can give, container name I can give, or container to folder to subfolder, till subfolder I can provide. I mean, if you see over here, till directory we are providing here. When it's come to blob path, and here you can see over a .csv, but extraction you can provide here. Along with extraction we can provide with the name also, but preferable is the extraction. And here is the main thing, that is event. If you see event, two different things are there. When the blob is get created, I mean any file got added to the storage, or anything got deleted, we can choose anyone, we can choose both of them. Okay, also there is ignore empty file blob. I mean, if that file got updated, also if it is empty we can ignore. So this is how we create the event based trigger. I hope I know it was quite long, but I hope we got an idea like what are the different type of trigger and how these work. If you like, and if you are still till now end of this video, then I really appreciate, and thank you for watching till now. You can do subscribe. Thank you.